What war?
The one that you were in.
Oh.
Oh,
My name, Frank L. Camacho Jr.
Eloise G. Camacho. You were drafted, weren't you? Poor Crampo. He was drafted. And at that time he was living at Leon Valley.
I was a young squirt.
You went on to Fort Sam or Dottsville. It was Dottsville. They took you in to have haircut and they dressed you up as a soldier. I know because my uncle Alfredo took me to go see you. Celia and I and another girl, I forgot her name, but we went to see you and we couldn't find you because they had already shaved your head and all. Sister, we're looking for you too. We couldn't find you because there was a bunch of soldiers there, lots of them. Phil, where did they take you? Or you got
They
into
took me to Camp Crowder,
Camp Crowder, Missouri?
and then they took me to North Carolina,
Camp
Camp Butler,
Butler, that's
Camp
right.
Butler.
Mhm.
Those two places I was in.
Right.
And then they took me overseas, which I didn't want to go. 2 landings in France, in New Guinea, and another one in the Philippines. I was in 4 battles, and each they would give you arrowhead. That's when you landed, first initial landing, Omaha Beach. That was us, engineers. 3-day success. Had these cross arms all over. But a lot of those had charges on them. You'd move them, or you'd bump up against them, and they'd blow up. Esto tenía mucho. You take refuge a little behind those. We didn't, the water was rough. They threw us way over here. We landed here with, we were supposed to land there in Charlie Company, but we didn't land there. There was boats sunk all over the place. In France, in Francia, you know, they would turn, they had big bombs like that, and they would turn them loose on the water. It hit ours on the back, but had to slow down. And the Jetta, and the back end, you know, the planks that they had it covered, those went up, and the impact, those went up, and it went straight down and crushed a lot of boys that were there. So we even had casualties before that. When we landed, it was bad, bad, bad. Mostly all the guys,
Machine
the
guns.
machine guns,
Machine
would
guns.
cut the heads off. Yeah. The guys those poor guys didn't have a chance. And we cut off to the left right away, and that's when I got hit. Me up. You know how they patch you up right away? They'll throw powder in there and then rub it, and that stops the bleed. And then they put a bandage over it. Well, I would say I was really lucky because they had all kinds of shooting, all kinds of, the mortars were flying all over the place, and I didn't get hit. Well, there's a lot of guys, hijo, a lot of them,
They were dead.
not just one or two.
Pobrecitos.
You would step over them.
Well, so many things happened.
Huh?
But we didn't have but just a radio to hear news.
Huh?
We only had a radio to hear the news, or either you have to go to Majestic to really see what was going on, you know. We were all in prayers that
Yeah.
we wondered all the time when an airplane would go by and we say, wouldn't it be nice to see one and we don't have no war together? And all of them had boyfriends that had left already. We were just girls all over the place. It was sad in a way. They were going through the same thing as I was,
Oh.
or I was going through the same
Oh.
thing they were.
Oh.
And at that time I was working at Burns. Maybe you don't remember.
That's right. They were all young.
Hmm.
Eh,
Very young. You were 18, and I'm
Yeah.
3 years younger than you. Can you imagine? There was shortness of gasoline.
Yeah.
We had food stamps for
Yeah.
meat. We had
Yeah.
a lot of
My
things. It's
daddy
sugar.
used to have a hard time getting to. Yo no sé cómo le haría.
Yeah, we
that-
gave him
that-
some stamps to your daddy so he could get some gas for the car.
Yeah.
We didn't have no car, so we gave the stamps to your daddy.
Uh-huh.
A lot of things went on that I don't see now, thank God.
Yeah.
It was so different.
Yeah.
We were
Well.
limit to everything.
Yes.
Ration for this, ration for that. And the first thing we did
Everything was
we had
rationed, right?
was all the silk, the hose. We didn't have any because they were making parachutes. So I remember that the boys were living in our neighborhood, and some of them were killed already. So I could hear the mothers just crying out loud, and we knew that something had happened already to one of our friends. But then we kept on going. I know that the letters, when he was overseas, they had to see them and stamp them, and whatever it say that they didn't want, they would cut them out, and I would just receive 1 page or 2 pages from him. And always, of course, he told me that he was there very, very lonesome, and that he wanted me to wait for him because he was so much in love with me. Anyway, time went on, mija. And then we had the sirens at night time. We couldn't have lights, the houses especially, at night time. So we would hear those sirens going on, and we knew they call it a blackout. But then one time my daddy came late from work, and he would build a fire. We had a stove that you have to put wood on it, and of course it makes light. And my grandpa came in with a barrel of water and just poured it on it and stopped the whole thing, okay?
First, I fought the Germans, and then I went to the Pacific. We made a convoy, and we hit that island right in the middle. That was no fun. They hit the island right in the middle, and we split it. We went this way instead of going that way south. We went north
direction.
and captured Hollandia and Sensapore. After we did that, we got ready for the invasion in the Philippines. That was a battle. Navas la haraplano venía, and they would dive, straight dive. A palo cayo.
Well, that's why we saw it, the majestic, that they would come down and, in other words, they commit suicide themselves, they call it, because that's what the orders were, is to go with the airplane. And
that big gun, you see that big gun? It would come out and shoot and just 3 syllables. That's all it would shoot. And then it would hide again. They would bring it back in the mountains. I think that's what they had, because we never did find it. And it would hit our, one time it hit an ammo dump. Gasoline ammo dump. Boy, it blew the heck out of it. George, when he seen me, he didn't know what to do. George, because I met him in the Philippines.
he went looking for George over there. Where was it?
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
That was your cousin.
Yeah. He was in Saint Fabian, and I was here. We had gone, and I was
Right
there. And then this is no man's land. From there, we went all the way up here to see him. I got some pictures of it. They were,
So, when you came from Philippine Islands, is that when the war was over or not?
yeah,
That was when it was
from the
over.
Philippine Island.
I remember then the sirens went on. It was because we had, they call it victory for us. And it was beautiful. When they always we had to see about the store, cover up the merchandise and all. And you know what we did? We didn't cover nothing. We just went right to the church. And being so thankful, people was crying. Some of them had already lost their sons or relatives, whatever. But it was beautiful. From there on, of course, I came on home and I was so happy myself, because not only for him, but for the rest of them.
I caught it a typhoon, and that boat rocked all over the place. I seen one of those big boats, a wave come and hit it and knocked it off, and it went down. You know what they used to do? They used to tie it to the door. It was a hatch door. It was a big hatch door.
So
Yep.
who got you from the depot?
Huh?
From the depot, who got you?
Mr. Patterson?
I know that I
Uh,
always heard that.
uh,
He said, I go for him.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what happened after you got here?
Then we got married.
Then we got married. But we didn't get married right away.
We got married, tied the knot, and that was kaput. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm so happy to help you any way I can, okay? Since when did I come so famous?